Welcome to Todd and Tazzy Tuesdays. A Bunny Hugs and Mental Health production.
Right now, if you want to get into an addictions facility, I think it's like 6 or 8 weeks. I'm like, dude, I want to get sober now. Because guess what's going to happen? I'm going to want chicken wings. Chicken wings are in a pub. A pub has bar. Next thing I know, I'm in Mexico. That's the way that works.
Yeah. When I worked in addictions, there was a lot of people that went to detox. They would detox for a couple of weeks, waiting to get into treatment. They would relapse, use the same amount of drugs that they did before. Their tolerance lowered, and they would overdose.
Yeah.
Waiting for treatment, but
waiting to get into treatment, right?
Yeah.
When I talk to my crowds, three is a crowd. What I do is I say, when you're voting, I don't care who you vote for, but please don't worry about what party it is. Worry about the candidates that are going to give you timely access to mental health and addictions help, universal pharmacare, and make everything for kids for free, recreation, medication, and education for free for the kids.
Yeah.
But timely, right?
Yeah.
My buddy Dean Jenkinson's got a great joke about Manitoba Health. He goes, I think their new slogan is "Time heals all wounds." Right? He's a funny cat, man.
That's pretty clever.
I love making him laugh. We're driving the other day before the snow hit, and there are all these guys, city guys, standing around this big light standard, and there's like 8 or 9 of them, and I go, hey, see that is? Many hands make light work. And Dean laughed, and I love making him. I love making you laugh. I love making everybody laugh, but there's certain people that when I go, there you go, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. Mm-hmm. Like last night, I did a show in a little town called Morden, Manitoba, and it was for a
brain injuries.
I took second.
Now I feel good making you laugh.
Oh, there you go, bro. That was fake. That was for your podcast, just so your listeners know you're still there. But it was for a full care facility for elderly folks, right? And I had gone. They had said, "Would you come?" Like the summer, they said, "Would you come and do a show for us?" And I'm like, yes. And they said, well, we don't really have a budget. I go, whatever. Listen, it's an hour and a half away. So then they said, I wish we could have you for our Christmas party, but they just don't give us a budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'll tell you what. If you come up with a date, I'll stick to that date, and I'll come and do it for you. And so yesterday I did one for Manitoba Hydro, the mental health one for Manitoba Hydro in the afternoon, and then drove out there. And of course the roads were like, this is bad. And even the truck is like, we should turn around. You got studded tires on. He goes, yeah, I don't care. I'm cold. And so the Bronco was sliding all over the place too, coming home, but on the way there, I was just, I couldn't remember where we were going, and I was like that dog that thinks he's going to the park. Maybe he's going to the vet. I don't know. I went there, and 2 tables were all kids, not young kids, 16 years old. Actually, all of them were 16 in the one area. There was like 8 of them, right? And so I said something that made everybody laugh, including those guys. And then I tagged it with just for those guys. Then I tagged it for the older people. And then I tagged it, back. And I'll tell you, I felt 10 feet tall, which apparently is what I'm supposed to be for this weight. And it made me feel good. Like even Lala was saying, you got the young ones. I'm like, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. Right. The one I had made the one kid was laughing so hard he's banging the table. And I miss being able to do that. Now I am so unsure of my footing that I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Even when I'm talking about, it's easier because when I'm talking about mental health, it's not that I make it up. It's I freelance. So I just sort of go with the flow, and I just talk and we do things, right? Kind of
Mm-hmm.
like like this interview, whatever. It's just I just talk about whatever comes to mind, or if somebody says something, I go in that direction. But I miss having my confidence of my show back, and I hope I get that back one day.
Why do you think it's concussions? Why have you had so many concussions?
Lots of concussions.
Fighting or
Yeah, I used to get drunk, and I love to fight. I love to get beat up because I deserved it, I thought, right?
oh, it was a way of self-harm, was fighting
Yes,
other people.
that's right. That was my odd self-medication, right? Was if I won, I was king of the world. If I lost, I deserved it.
Gotcha. Huh.
Yeah, so I've been jumped a few times. I've had I head through the side window a couple of times in a car accident, and a couple other car accidents, and beat up pretty bad. And yeah,
Hmm.
so my brain housing unit's got a little crack in her.
How- Did any doctor consider it's like early dementia or like anything like that?
Well, see, that was the other thing too, because all my aunties and uncles that have passed of dementia.
Hmm.
All of them, and my mom and dad both had dementia of sorts. Dad full dementia, mom vascular dementia. And so when I told them how many, they go, well, it's not hereditary. I go, I think you might want to check my family line a little bit. What's going on, right?
Hmm.
So that was my big concern, was that it is dementia, but they said it's not dementia because you know what's happening to you. And I said, oh, fair enough, 100%, right?
Hmm. Well, my grandma knew what was happening to her. Like after she passed, we found a note in her purse saying, "You, this is your name, this is your address. Just don't get too scared. Calm down.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Call your husband at this number." And so I don't know. I
Did
don't.
she write that, or did the husband write that, maybe, or do you know?
No, she wrote it. It was in her
Okay,
handwriting.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
she worked in old folks' homes and stuff. She was a nurse,
yeah,
so I don't know if she just was self-aware and could. I don't know what
yeah.
happened, but
I believe that you know that it's happening to you. Like, I know that my brain's not working,
right.
right?
Yeah.
I have not the same note. I have a note with everybody's phone number on it because I don't remember anybody's phone number anymore, and they're just all speed dials on my phone,
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
right? So I'm like, oh, that's not dementia. That's now,
Yeah. That's just
right?
technology.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I hope I get back to where I can have wanting to get back on stage. Right now, I'm only wanting to get back on stage for comedy is if it's for a charity, or if like, well, I have to pay bills and things like that. I haven't had fun in a long time. Well, actually, in Regina, for that gig I did, that was awesome. It was fun. It was just like back and off the cuff, and it was great. I ended up doing an extra half an hour, and then we had to drive home. And it was raining when I got. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll stay. And I'm like, it's raining. Get in the car. It was pouring rain too. Bad too about Santa Luta, and then it wasn't bad after that. Santa Luta all the way home. I thought I was going to have these great stories to tell, and I'm like, oh, well, it's just all dry. Stupid. No, no fear. I didn't poop in the truck at all. What the hell?
Do you crave life experience like that? Like,
Once in a while.
like I don't want to say like some people are adrenaline junkies and love to jump out planes and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I do crave like just bizarre situations, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be able to tell stories about it,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? This is,
This is good material.
yes, sir.
Yeah, even when I had to go to addiction treatment, I was super scared, but then I turned it around like, this could be really interesting. What the fuck? Like I get an inside
Yeah,
look of this fucking crazy place that only a certain amount of people go to. And,
yeah.
it turned out to be probably the most life-changing month of my life as
hmm
well, on top
Isn't
of
isn't
experience.
it weird though that in a month you're able to undo years, right?
Kind of.
Or to learn that,
Or
you know,
plant
no, you
seeds
can plant
to,
seeds for
yeah,
sure. I mean, when I went to the psych ward the first time, I was forced to go to the psych ward.
right.
Um, there was a lady there, and she looked like she was supposed to be there. Her lipstick was just off a little bit, like she looked like her lips were on the wrong side of her face, and two different colors of eyeshadow on, way too much perfume. Like, holy crap. Wagner power tool amount of perfume. And I'm sitting there and I'm just comatose. And the doctor just tried to talk to me, and I thought I was trying to answer, but my brain was just done. I couldn't answer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor said, "Well, listen, if you're not going to talk to me, nobody can help you," and just walks away. And I'm like, I'm trying inside. I'm like,
It's exhausting.
I couldn't get the word. I couldn't get the words out to go. I just need another little bit of sleep. That's all, right? And then I'm in the room having some Jello and something else. I can't remember what it was. And this little girl comes up. The lady comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, how old are you?" I said, "Pardon me?" She goes, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "Well, that's not what you asked." I said, "I'm here because I'm depressed and I'm suicidal." "How old are you?" I don't know how old I was, like 21 or something, 22. She goes, "It takes you 21 years to get like this? You think in one day you're going to be okay?" "That's not going to happen." She goes, "And trust me, I could be your grandmother, but though you don't look Jewish." And she walked away. And I wanted to say, "I could pass a physical." But I didn't say that, but she was right. And then I tried to listen to her, and then I think probably a day later, I'm walking through Calgary in sock feet because they wouldn't give me my shoes or my belt back, and I was heading back to my apartment.
Yeah. Speaking of brain injuries and psych wards, I do not remember my first 2 days in the psych ward. I had a friend come visit on the third day, and she's talking about when she visited me the other day, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like,
Yeah.
"You know, on Monday when I came and saw you and we talked about this." I was like, "You saw me?" She's like, "Yes, we had like a full hour-long conversation and stuff." I'm like, "No idea." I don't know if it was.
It'd be funny if she's just pissing with you, right? Yeah, it was me and Sean Connery was here. He said, "Listen, I need you to get better." Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. I don't know if it was because just before my suicide attempt, I was slamming my head against the wall and all that types of shit. But so I don't know if it was concussion or if just my brain was just like went poop poop for a couple of weeks. But
Well, stress is a good eraser, man.
yeah.
Like it doesn't remember. Like I've done. People will come and tell me stories, and I'm like, "That was me." Yeah, okay. I remember the story, but I didn't know I was part of it.
Yeah, that sounds like me. But
It sounds like something I would do.
well, man, you have my deepest empathy for what you're going through right now with your brain injury, because I've worked with people in addictions that had brain injuries and stuff too, and
Yeah.
it's or even if it's dementia, whatever it is, it's frustrating and it's hard to accept.
That's the biggest part is I'm so frustrated. Like I'll get on stage and I know that there's more to the story I'm telling. Or worse, Todd, I got to get on stage and I forget where I am, like literally what city I'm in or what event this is. And I'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry, what was I talking about?" And then they'd be like, "Oh," and then people look and I go, "Oh, okay, so sorry, let me tell you what's happening. Something's going on with my brain. We can't figure out what it is." And as soon as they say that, they're like, "Okay." Now they're almost taking notes. Is he gonna ask me where we are? Is he gonna ask me where we are now? It's good, right? Or Lala's there and I go, "What were they talking about?" And or sometimes she'll point to her shoes or she'll make a signal with her hand. And I know what that means, right? I mean, "Oh, I was talking about that," or "I was talking about this," right?
It's like me when I used to smoke pot.
Pardon me?
It's like when I used to smoke pot, I'd be middle of a story and be like, "What am I talking about?"
Dude, we should get some wings. I got the greatest compliment from another comedian who said, "Your 4 out of 10 is better than most people's 9 out of 10. So you're okay."
Right.
I go, "Yeah, but I need to be able to do what I was doing before, right? Because I don't feel effective anymore. I don't know. I feel,
The dopamine hit's not there anymore.
yeah, the dopamine hits is not there anymore." And there's a huge dopamine hit, man, when you when you say something that makes people laugh uncontrollably or snort. When people, I love that because that means they're laughing so hard they can't get their breath, right?
Yeah.
And that's my job. That's my joy. That's my purpose. That and educating, right? Or sharing, I guess.
Wow. But I love that you do both at the same time. You make
Sometimes,
learning fun or hilarious or whatever. Yeah.
Well, we got an email a while ago that said, "Dear Tazz, you getting emotionally naked on stage makes me feel so much better about who I am and what I'm going through." And I thought, look at that. See, this is what it's about. Of course, Weeby says, "Yeah, but she could mean that her life sucks, but at least she's not you." And I went, "I'll take that too, son. I'll be okay with that."
Either way, I'm helping someone feel better.
By example or by contrast, we're good.
Yeah. There was something you said when we were in Indian Head and we did a talk together, which I still feel bad. I feel like that was one of my worst performances because I actually forgot to take my meds that day and I was all wonky and shitty. But anyway,
It worked out well, buddy.
well, because you
Except for the crowd or us, right? I mean, otherwise it was terrible.
the venue sucked and the town was shitty. But
You know what? Don't ever deflate your own balloon, man. Just
well, that's
let
what
that
you're doing.
fly. You don't listen. You listen to what I say, not what I do.
But I mean, and I've heard people say this before, but when you said it that day, I was like, oh my God, that's how I feel. I was also just recently diagnosed at that point with ADHD, but that feeling of like,
And that's why you forgot to take your meds, probably.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I gotta take my meds. Hey, do you know there's 3 golf balls on the moon? What?
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Purple monkey dishwasher. Yep.
That's not the quote I was gonna give, but
You know what's funny is that when I came home a while ago to Lala's place in BC there, and there was a purple monkey there just sitting on my computer, and she goes, "I was trying to find little tiny dishes in a cloth." A purple monkey dishwasher. There you go.
Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Whatever.
You said I feel like not enough and too much at the same time.
Yeah.
And that hit so hard. I was like, man, that is exactly it. It's hard to put into words how you feel sometimes. And when someone else says it, it's like, oh, that's it. That's how I feel a lot of the time.
Me too, still. I feel like a big burden, and yet I'm not doing anything to help anybody.
Yep.
Like sometimes I watch these other comedians get together, and they have this big golf thing or whatever, and I'm not invited, and I'm like, oh, I'm not. Maybe is it because I'm not enough, or because I'm not,
or I'm too much for them?
I'm too much for them. And then I realized, oh, it's because they've been friends for 30 years, and I grew up in my comedy world by myself for the most part.
And you forgot to check your emails.
Yeah, 100%. But it's weird. Is that just, I want to be on the path of those who get together a lot, and I'm not. I'm on a different path.
Do you? I know that feeling too with some people that some peers too, but I also isolate a bit on purpose. It's like it's like that's weird being part of that crowd. But then when they get together, it's like, why didn't they invite me? But at the same time, I'm also like, I'm constantly at arms. I purposely put people at arm's lengths. So
yeah, me too. I always say I don't need people in my life, right? But I do. I mean, my whole life is spending days with strangers, and now that Lala's coming on the road with me a lot to more to handle and babysit or whatever she's doing, but yeah, you know what, brother, I understand what you're saying.
I don't know if it's a trust issue or what it is.
I don't. I think it's because I hate myself so much. So why would I let them hate me too? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't need them to see my flaws. Right? Yet. I'm standing under a big magnifying glass going, look at this right here. Do you guys see this one?
Yeah.
I got this. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you're like this. Is it uncomfortable to get compliments?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to brush them off, and then somebody said, why are you belittling somebody's belief in your ability? And I'm like, well, because
they don't know me well enough yet.
And somebody told me that me giving you a compliment isn't negated by anything you've done wrong in the past. Right? I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Right?
So in this moment, this comment is true.
Yeah, in this moment, this comment is how I feel and how you've made me feel. And so you made me feel this way, so I'm going to let you know the result of that, which is happiness or sadness or whatever the result is.